say you've got a friend and say when the road looks rough ahead and you're miles and miles from your nice warm bed, you just remember what your old pal said. Y'all, you've got a friend in Zay. Welcome back to another episode of You Got a Friend in Zay, a talk show that I designed it and created to come in here to talk about the true meaning of friendship. How's everybody feeling? How's everybody doing? We are in a new month, new chapter, new season. Like, this is it. So I hope you guys are setting new intentions and new goals this month and following through with it. We're also in daylight savings, so we do lose an hour. But it's okay, because we're going to make up for it by resting. Remember, you need it. Your body needs it. Your mind, spirit, and soul needs that rest. So make sure you get that rest. So without further ado, we're going to get into the nitty gritty. So the movie that I want to talk about is called Cars. I've been sitting on this movie for a minute, and I'm so excited to talk about it. Now, before I get into that, if you haven't seen the movie, go ahead and watch it and come back. But if you're okay with the spoiler alerts, then welcome aboard. Now, I want to open up with a scripture. Philippians chapter 2, verse 3. Don't be selfish. Don't try to impress others. Be humble, thinking of others better than you. I'm going to read that again. Don't be selfish. Don't try to impress others. Be humble, thinking of others as better than you. That's a song by Kendrick Lamar. Sit down. Be humble. Yep, I had to sing it. So I want you guys to keep in mind of that scripture as I open up the movie. So Lightning McQueen, it starts out with him. The fastest car, the fastest racer out there. He's on the track getting ready for a race, and everybody's screaming his name, Lightning McQueen, Lightning McQueen. And he's over there like, ka-chung, that's me, showing his best off. And he is so embracing fame and fortune and all that stuff, like so into it, that he forgets that there's no I in team. So the team that is supporting him and providing him the things that he needs in order to be the best that he can, he's like pushing them to the side. When a paparazzi comes to him and interview him, he's all like, oh, I do this, I do that. It's all about me and da. And the teams, they're like, yeah, okay. Like, you want to be able to race well if it wasn't for our support, But he was all into his head, and it was all about him at the moment. So he really didn't care about anybody else's feelings. He only cared about himself and cared about winning the race and looking good. And that put a damper on the team, and they just left him eventually after the race was over. Now, Lightning McQueen was still kind of like, it's okay, I can do this by myself or whatever. But after they announced that it was a tie, he was like, oh, it's a tie. Well, I can still do this, whatever. I'm just going to, do the best I can without my team. So as he's traveling to the next race, he ended up getting lost at an old town, which is a beautiful town as well, that used to be popping, had cars coming through from left to right, but once they made a highway on the other side, then cars would go through that way because it's faster route than going through the old town. So Lightning McQueen ended up crashing into the old town while he was trying to find the way back to the truck that was taking him to the new race. And the beauty of the old town, even though that they lost business, they still were united together. They still were one. They weren't forgetting each other. They weren't going out and finding other jobs and stuff like that. They stay together because they know they can make it happen some way, one way or another. And so when he enters the old town, they're looking at him like, yeah, you're Lightning McQueen, but this is our town. You destroyed it, so you have to reap what you sow. Basically, you have to fix the damage, and then you can leave for the race. So they basically humbled him down and reminded him that he's human. Because in the outside world, it was all fame and fortune, but in the old town, it was you're human. You're just you. That's it. And so as he's going through that, as he's trying to escape to go back to the race, but they reel him back in. They slowly reel him back in because, like, no, slow down there, buddy. He actually finds his best friend, which is Mater. Now, Mater is a loving, fun, outgoing car that is supportive of him, very loyal, and whatever Lightning McQueen wanted, he was there and making sure he gets that support. Now, Lightning McQueen was a little sketch of him at first, but then after a while, he's like, I'm stuck here, so we can hang out and do things and et cetera, et cetera. And he realized that, he's actually a good friend and a good person. And not only that he found his best friend, he also found his girlfriend. Um, at first, when Lightning McQueen crashed the town, the girlfriend was the lawyer of the town. So she was kind of like, you came here, destroy the town, you got to do the job. But Lightning McQueen was trying to flirt with her. And she was like, I'm not interested right now. I'm interested if you fixing the town more than how you're interested in me in this relationship. I'm letting you know right now. But as Lightning McQueen was going through the changes and being humble in the situation, she saw the heart in him and, started falling for him a little bit. And they traveled, they talked and stuff like that. And she showed him her motel and the place that she wants to invest in as well and stuff like that. And so, they hit it off, basically. And so not only that, he finds a best friend, finds a girlfriend, he also finds a mentor. And this is the part that I really, really, really love about the movie. The car that is there, that's kind of like runs the whole town, was Doc Hudson. Now, he was actually an old racer back in the day. I think it was 1974, 1975. He used to be a fast racer, won so many races. And when Lightning McQueen found out, he was like, wait a minute. You the Hudson? And he was like, yeah, but I don't want to talk about it because the last race that he ever raced, he crashed and everybody, the sponsors, the money and all that stuff, people that support the races and support the cars to race, gave up on him. It was like, oh, he crashed. There's no way he can come back from this. And he was traumatized from that. He really was. And so he didn't want to relive that moment. So when Lightning McQueen came in the picture, he had to relive that moment again. And to say that God sometimes bring people back or bring things back to remind you of your trauma so you can in order for you to go through it again, and not only that, to learn from your past and actually heal from it. Take time to actually digest the pill, because sometimes the pill it's really hard to swallow, but we have to swallow it and let it do its job. So in order for us to grow, it has to fertilize the seed so the seed can open up and become a flower or a tree. So now back to the movie. I had to drop that gem for you guys real quick. But yeah, so when Lightning McQueen found out, he was trying to get him to like get the support, the mentorship and all that good stuff. And Doc was like, all right, how about this? I'll race you. If I win, you have to stay here and fix the road and fix our town. and if you win, you can just leave and go back to the race. He's like, I bet. Lightning McQueen was still had that ego, so he had that unchecked ego. Um, that he was still top of the notch. He was the best. He's gonna win. This old junkie ain't gonna win nothing. So they get to the race, and I love this scene. They get to the race. They do the countdown, and phew, Lightning McQueen is out. He's doing his thing. Doc is sitting there like, I'm just gonna stay right here. And piggyback, I forgot to say, the track that they're racing on is dirt. It's not like a regular nice track with the road, concrete and all that stuff. No, 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 no. This is dirt. So they were like street racing, kind of like street ball when you're playing basketball. Yeah, they were doing that. But Doc knew that he was gonna make it as far. So Lightning McQueen was like, I'm gonna win, I'm gonna do this, I got this on top of the notch. As soon as he hits that turn, that curve, he swirls and crashes into the cactus. And Doc was like, all right, Mater, we gotta go pick up the trash. Because he knew that was what's gonna happen. And he pulls him out, and Lightning McQueen was like so confused. He's like, I'm the best. I know what I'm doing. Look what happened. So it humbled him in that moment because he thought he had it. He had it all, had all the training, but little by little, he noticed that he didn't. And that's what Doc was trying to get him to understand. Like, hey, calm down. This ego needs to be boop, popped real quick. And so Doc actually eventually tells him what to do when he hits that curve. And Lightning McQueen at first was like, I don't believe in that. But then he tried it out and it was like, oh. And he actually saw it too when Doc did it. And he was like, oh, it makes sense now. So now all of that happened. Lightning McQueen becomes more and more humbled and understanding that there's no I in team, that he needs his team in order to grow, in order to flourish, and to continue being the fastest car, the fastest racer. It's not just him. And he's not alone in this. He needs that foundation, that support. And so he's asking the town, even though the business is low, it's not up to date anymore. Hey, can you help me buff me up, look better for the race that's coming up? And so they're like, yeah, we got you, because now he fixed the road, he did his job, and now he's like asking for help. You know what I mean? And I know that's so hard, especially when you're like alpha, want to do it all and stuff like that, and don't want anybody mess anything up, but asking for help is huge. It's okay. You could do it. I'm one of them that struggles for asking for help, but it's huge. It does it makes a big difference. So as he's going through that, Doc was still going through his trauma, still going through the hurt, and remembering that the crash happened, and I gotta get Lightning McQueen out of here. So he makes the phone call to paparazzi and other people that were looking for him, and was like, "Hey, Lightning McQueen's here." So they all coming down to pick up Lightning McQueen, and Lightning McQueen was like, "Wait a minute, I didn't even make the call yet. Hold on, I didn't even get to say goodbye, and all that stuff." And as they take him away, the old town was like, "Wait a minute, this doesn't make any sense," and it clicked that it was Doc, and they were like, "You called?" And Doc was like, "Man, listen, I know, and they were like, "Nah, it's cool, whatever." So, as Lightning McQueen gets to the race, he's still reminiscing that one, he doesn't have a team. Two, what he learned from the old town, how to be humbled, to be at peace, basically, because he was at peace there. He met his mentor, his girlfriend, his best friend. That's wow. And so when he starts to race, he kind of just goes off to the grass and spins, and because he's still in that moment and so high off the beautiful moment that he discovered. And out of nowhere, he hears Doc's voice. He's like, "Hey, what you doing?" He's like, "Wait a minute, huh?" And the old town all comes down because Doc felt so guilty. He was like, "You know what? Let's all go and pull up and support him. He needs a team anyways." So they gonna end up going and support him, which is beautiful. And then the last scene that I want to talk about was the race where they're ending at the finish line. So Lightning McQueen was zooming through, and there's two other cars that are on the list that are ready to win the race as well. One car was so full of it that he crashes the other car while Lightning McQueen still, zoom, zoom, he still avoids it because he has his team that's supporting him, giving him, "Hey, you got this. Don't you are who you are. Don't listen to anybody else. Don't worry about them." But once he saw the crash, he immediately stops, and he remembers that Doc experienced the same thing that this car is experiencing right now, the crash, and like, this is my last race. I'm gonna lose everything. So he lets the other car that's so full of it, "Go ahead, you can win the race, but I'm going to get that car and we're going to cross the line together." In that moment, he understood that it doesn't matter what's going on. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter about winning. It's about supporting other and doing it together. Like, there's no I in team. He understood there's no I in team. And everybody was cheering him on because he had integrity and humanity as well. And he didn't let his ego, his unchecked ego, get the best of him. He let his check ego clock in. And I thought that was beautiful. And then I want to tie that moment with the story of Moses. Moses was a strong, fierce leader trying to lead the Israelites to the promised land. But inside of him, he didn't feel like he was worthy. He didn't feel like he was uh, worth leading them. He had insecurities and all that stuff. It's like, me, why me, God? Why me? But God was like, "You're chosen, and not only that you're going to the promised land, you're going to bring them to the promised land together." So he understood that he had to work. They all had to work together in order to get to the promised land because God wants them to get them there. No matter what obstacles, no matter challenges is there, you're going to get there no matter what. And so Lightning McQueen understood that as well. Even though he wanted to be top of the notch, and he still was. That's the thing. He still was top of the notch when he didn't win first place because he chosen humanity. He chosen love. You know what I mean? So just remember that it doesn't matter if you're top of the notch first, this, that. If you still stick with humanity, love, integrity, and understanding that there's no I in team, that you need your people, your support system, you can go far. That's all I got to say on that note. All right, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for watching in. Watching. I said watching in. Watching. I hope you guys got some good gems in this one. If you guys have movies or recommendations that I should watch to tie in the friendship, let me know. Shoot your boy a DM, message me. But yeah, I'm gonna close it out. Remember, you are loved, you are enough, and you are worthy. I love you guys. Take care.